Good morning. This is Dr. Lisa coming to you from Tampa, Florida, a board certified internal medicine doc that has been trying to connect and help you along this journey on the front lines of patients dealing with potential COVID-19 or just families, patients, people in general who are ready to up-level their game and be able to be as prepared as possible for whatever this journey is going to bring. It has been an interesting one, I think, for all of us, and just wanted to take a moment to tell you all that you're doing incredibly well in uncertain times. The way that you are rallying and adapting and, suddenly being a teacher or a cook. That's what I've done. I haven't cooked this much, I honestly don't think, in my entire life. And I'm enjoying it. So I want to give you kudos, thumbs up, and you need to do that to yourself as well. So the structure of these brief updates are the update on the science, an integrative functional medicine tip that you can potentially put into play or at least study and read about, and then some uplifting positive affirmation, because we know that our cells respond to our mental state. And when we're in fear and uncertainty, we are not in our top lit state. So I like to talk about getting lit, meaning the optimal place that you can possibly be, where your body and mind are firing on all cylinders. So science-wise, what I wanted to mention today that is very interesting to me is one of the things they're doing, taking people who have now recovered from COVID-19, and these are some clinical trials that are going underway, and they've tried some treatment protocols that seem promising, and they're taking out their immunoglobulins. So when people are exposed to bacteria or viruses, our immune system mounts a response, and that response is to I describe them as soldiers that go after the infectious organism and help the body to get rid of it. And these soldiers are called immunoglobulins, and there are therapies where you can actually remove the soldiers from one person who's been exposed and then put them into another person who may be suffering, and the soldiers will go and get rid of the infection. So it's a pretty cool concept, and I was happy to hear that they're starting to put it in play for COVID-19. The interesting piece and question that arises with some of these therapies, and again, we don't know how effective yet they're going to be, but I just wanted you to understand what immunoglobulins were and how they're being used with the plasma of patients who've already recovered being injected into people that are currently struggling with the illness. But the really cool part that we're not able to understand yet is that the testing seems to not be where we need it to be. So there's false negatives coming out. Nobody knows what that percentage is yet. Nobody really knows what type of test is the best. So if you, let's say, had a false negative and you thought the patient who made the immunoglobulins was healed and you removed their plasma to give it as a therapy for somebody else, but they actually still had active virus, then that could be catastrophic. So until we understand the testing a little bit better, this therapy is probably not going to be able to be mainstream. I just thought it was interesting, wanted to share. Now, the other point I wanted to bring up is along that same line, which is we understand that a huge percentage of people that are getting exposed to this virus are completely asymptomatic. Why is that? Like, why are some people completely asymptomatic and other people getting terrible symptoms much worse than the flu? And I think it's going to boil down to the state of your immune system. That's what we're finding. And the people who have stronger, more youthful immune systems, just like the kids, those people are potentially getting a sniffle or a very mild symptom for a couple of days and then getting over it and not having to worry about this COVID-19 at all. So how do we provoke and instigate the process of having a more youthful immune system? That's what we all want right now. This is something that's been part of my research for the past 20 years as I've had to heal my own body numerous times with different techniques, and I needed to find ways to get it to produce new cells. So there is a technique called hormesis. Hormesis means a stress that the body goes through that forces the body to adapt. So let's say one of the easy ways is to explain this. I'll use being freezing cold. So we talked briefly about Wim Hof and his breathing method yesterday. He can run marathons in, sub-zero temperatures. So he wasn't always able to do that so easily. What he had to do was go through hormesis, which means get himself exposed to extreme cold. And then the body, these beautiful machines we have been gifted, knows how to adapt. So how it adapts is by making new cells, by upregulating the immune system, by upregulating your mitochondria, which I will talk more and more about in some of my lives next week. So the hormesis tip that I have for today is going to be that of fasting. Many of you may have tried, you've heard that it's all the rage right now, and there's lots of reasons to attempt fasting, but in terms of the immune system, it is actually quite helpful. So what I would recommend is, I don't want you guys to go and attempt a 24 or 48-hour fast if you've not done keto adaptation or worked on cutting your carbs down. You will not feel good. So what we can try instead is something called time-restricted feeding. And think about planning a window of about 8 hours or so that you will do all of your eating in. So what's easy for me is I'll wake up in the morning, I'm not overly hungry, and I will just push off any kind of breakfast or even my fatty coffee until maybe 11 or 12. You can have just straight black coffee if you need your caffeine, or some organic tea and water. And then just limit the window that you're eating. So I may eat between, let's say, 11 and 7. Some people are really hungry when they wake up in the morning, so have breakfast and then stop eating by around 4, which would be really tough for me. So that will induce a state of hormesis, and your body will adapt and get stronger. And when that happens, it will trigger a healthier immune system. So that's the beauty of these incredible bodies that we have. We can make new mitochondria. We can make new cells. So it's never too late to start and come up with a regimen. If you have questions, let me know. Leave them in the comments. And I'm enjoying your feedback. So the more feedback I get, the more I will continue these lives and bring up topics that are relevant. So I'm going to leave you guys with the affirmation for the day. And the affirmation today is, my body is perfect, healthy, and ready to adapt to any challenge. My body is perfect, healthy, and ready to adapt to any challenge. Say that a couple times today. Figure out a way to maybe implement some time-restricted feeding, and be well. Get out in the sun, wash your hands. I'll see you guys on Monday. Reach out sooner. If you have questions, you can always DM me and message me, and we'll be together connecting and navigating this next week. Take care. Bye.